it's a road, it's a motorway, and the road gets rocky along the way. But if it gets too smooth, it's time to call it a day. Jimi Hendrix, the Who, the Led Zeppelin are free. They took the road, so it's alright by me. Some are survivors and some of the break. If you're playing a band, that's a road that you take. Living it, eating it, sleeping it. You wake up in the morning, what do you see? Road.
We had a bit of a conversation at the pub. I would like to go back to the videos. And previously I asked you what you remembered of the Lost and Found thing. Did you enjoy doing those videos? I think you said it was always very late.
Well, they were always longer than anybody wanted them to be. And they always took time. And it's difficult to remember what we did, you know, because the thing about that period of the Kinks is that the Americans have a phrase for it, which is same shit, different day. And I don't mean shit in there, but that's their phrase for it. But things became very, you know, there'd be a tour, but prior to the tour there'd be recording session, and the tour would consist of pretty much the same places we'd been to the year before, because that was, we talked about bums on seats. That was bums on seats, you know. You knew, or I guess the agent knew, that if you went to Miami there'd be a full house, and if you went to Chicago there'd be a full house, and so that was what we did. But there was, and this is not, I'm not denigrating it, but it was every day. There wasn't too much difference in every day. You know, the fact that you could be 1,000 miles from where you were the day before, but it was still the same old, and actually that's what I meant, same old, same old.
So you're not going to be able to tell us what on earth the How Do I Get Close videos about, throwing mannequins into swimming pools and all that nonsense?
No, I don't know. I can't. All I know is that MTV didn't like it and wouldn't play it. That was it.
And you sat around and
yeah, because it was, as we said, it was a very obvious mannequin that was supine over raised. I mean, it was, you know, it was supine. You know, its legs and its arms and its head were all in one line. You know, you can't do that with a dead body, you know, or even a live body, you know. And so this thing was sort of tossed like that. And anyway, MTV didn't like it. But we certainly, Dave and I, were made up. Interestingly enough, the first video what I made was down on Brighton Pier. And it was not very long after the Grand had been blown up by the IRA. You could look back from the pier and there was this big hole in the Grand Hotel. And we arrived there, and this is my first video, so I'm sort of looking forward to it.
Do it again, wouldn't it?
Do it again. And so Ray said, he said, I'm going to play drums, so he gave me a guitar. I said, oh, okay, Ray. So, you know, I'm playing my A, D and E, and he gave me the Les Paul. It must have been the Les Paul. And I'm wearing the most ridiculous gear. I think I had sort of, I had clogs on that I couldn't have played drums in anyway. Not that I had to, we were miming. And that was my very first video, playing guitar. But at least I wasn't expansively waving my arms around.
Radio acting.
Yeah.
That was, you were dressed as a clown, I think.
Do you know? I've got photos of it somewhere.
Was it Dave?
No, I was...
Was it a cowboy?
No, that was, I think it was Stubbsy. No, I was in daft stuff. Cowboy or a Mountie, that would have been okay. I think I was Ray Punch?
Yes, that's right.
Right, then I was something along those lines. Was I a Piero? I don't know.
Didn't put you off though.
No, go on then, this is rock and roll. Okay. I think I look quite good, you know. I've never played guitar before.
Hatred is the only thing that keeps us together. Hatred is the only thing that lasts forever.
Was the tension between Ray and Dave a major problem during your time with the Kinks?
I think there was expectancy from the audience that something just might happen, and To be honest, there were a couple of things, but never in the face. There were a couple of fisticuffs, and it wasn't a great idea to have Indian food after the gig in the dressing room. And there was sort of masala, and there was what's the yellow stuff called? It always looked interesting on the wall. But that's what they did, and a lot of people would come expecting it, and most of them would be disappointed. Although there was, not long left on McLean, and we were playing at, it's a military academy, upstate New York. West Point, yeah. All of the major generals went there, if you see what I mean, and some of the less major generals. But anyway, McLean turned up, and there was this altercation on the stage. So McLean thought it probably wasn't such a good idea to come backstage, so he didn't. But of course there were. I mean, if you didn't think that was going to happen, then you were in the wrong band. But, there are plenty of other bands that had those sort of things. Unit 4, I mean, they would have a fight. And we never had any fights in Argent. But, I mean, lots of bands have fights. That's what makes them a band. And that said, that's the chemistry that made, that was the glue that made it happen for the Kinks. The sibling rivalry, if that is what you want to put it down to.
You did play with Daltrey, didn't you? You've done some work with Daltrey, because he was notorious for hitting
even
people.
now he likes a good fight. Yeah, he does like a fight, and but I've never had a fight with Roger, but I can imagine how it began. But you're so much in each other's pockets, and
Sure.
I think to be family in each other's pockets, if anybody's looking for an excuse, is even worse. So all these things that happened when you were a kid, when you were very young, sort of come out.
Yeah.
But it's a fair cop. I did have a lot of problem with my foot pedal during those years. So rather than preferring anybody against anybody, I'd have to mend my foot pedal frequently.
You didn't feel the need to hit anyone with it.
I didn't think I ought to be. No. I certainly wasn't going to throw it at anybody. Although I had my time when I would like to have.
So what did you do with Daltrey? Did you do recording work?
At the time we started off with Leo Sayers' album, which was being produced by Adam Faith, allegedly. And it was at Roger's studio. And then Roger liked what was going on. So he said, why can't we do some stuff for him? And so we did. And then Adam Faith got in on the act and we did an album for him. So I played on all of those, certainly all of the stuff for Leo and Roger. Roger's first album, or his first solo album anyway, which was, I keep using the phrase, good fun, but it was good. And the music was good too. I mean, you listen to that stuff. I'll bump into somebody and I'll say, so what's your favourite song? And they'll say, One Man Band. You think, what? Or Giving It All Away. And you think, well, wait a second, it was a great song, but can't imagine it anyway. But people do. So we all have our own things that we love.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I know better now. I know better now. Giving it all away. Just a boy, giving it all away.
I think you also knew Keith Moon. What was he like? Was he nice?
Oh, he was nice. Oh,
He always came over as funny.
I don't think it was ever. I don't think he had time.
Mad and-
I don't think he had time to be vindictive.
No.
I mean, he was just daft as well. There's,
Yeah.
that was the other side of his genius.
But sometimes people who can be funny are often not very
Oh
nice
yeah, I
people,
mean, yeah, the
you
Freddie
know.
Starr thing. Yeah.
Well,
In my experience, he was always sweetness and light. He used to turn up at the drum
Oh, that's
shop.
nice.
He would come up at 12 o'clock during the day, lunchtime, and say, "Dear boy, I've brought a bottle of brandy for us." I said, "Keith, it's 12 o'clock, man." Say, "Yes, but sit in the car," and we'd sit in the car, and that was that really. But he was daft, yeah.